AMI, log numbers, community board preferences. Housing Connect lotteries are full of these crazy terms that will confuse any new applicant. But in this video, we're going to break down what each of these terms mean and how they affect your chances in the lottery. And we're going to start off with the most important one, AMI, which stands for Area Median Income. This is simply the income levels that Housing Connect determines your household versus the amount of rent you're going to have to pay. This range can go anywhere between 30% AMI up to 165% AMI. The higher the percentage, the higher the rent, and the higher the income limit that you need to make in order to qualify. The lower the number, the lower the rent, so on and so forth. It's important to know though, the lower you go in terms of AMI level, you typically see the most competition for them because there are more applicants that qualify for the lower AMI numbers than do for the higher ones. You'll typically find the AMI levels when you go into the listings and look on the left side. From there, you'll see the percentages, and then if you look to the right, you can see what the actual income levels would be. The next term we have to talk about is your log number, which is essentially your place in line. Everybody is given a log number within 1 to 2 weeks after a lottery closes. Some people can even get multiple log numbers if you fit into certain set-asides or preferences. Now, you can easily find your log number for each lottery by going into your Housing Connect dashboard and looking at the front page of the lotteries that you have applied for. Some people may get lucky with log numbers in the 3 to 4 digit range, while others, like me, get lotteries that are even in the 5 digits or more range. Now, in general, the lower the log number you have, the better your chances of getting called in the lottery, because processors have to go through documents and applications in order from lowest log number to the highest. However, they also have to do them in a certain order. Set-asides get filled first, then preferences, then anybody in the general lottery. So just because you may get a log number that is like in the hundreds, doesn't mean you're gonna get called right away. So you heard me say things like set-asides and preferences, but what do these actually mean? Well, set-asides and preferences are 2 of the 3 groups of applicants that every housing lottery has to fill. Set-asides are people that are either seniors, have some kind of disability, or they're coming from homeless shelters. They're called set-asides because a certain number of apartments are actually set aside for people who fit these criteria. Preferences are the second group to get filled. Preferences include people in the community boards, which are applicants who live in the current neighborhood where the building is located, or just within the same community board as the building itself. They are also made up of municipal employees. These are people like police, fire departments, teachers, sanitation, anybody who actually works for the city of New York. My best advice for applicants is if you can fit in one of these set-asides or preferences, do it, because your chances of getting called skyrocket from them, especially community board preferences, because lotteries generally are now allocating 20% of their total apartments for community boards. Now we got to talk about income and assets, because even though we know what these are, when it comes to housing lotteries, we sometimes get mixed up with what we need. So for income, we're talking about any kind of money that you make. Whether you have a job, whether you started a business, whether you are getting government assistance like disability, you need to submit any and all income documents that you have. And when we talk about your assets, we're talking about every single asset that you own, from checking accounts, savings accounts, investments, brokerages, even life insurance if you have whole life. And the reason processors need these is because in a lot of housing lotteries, there's actually a limit to the amount of assets that you can have. So if the total amount of assets exceeds this number, that's an automatic rejection. And that's just some of the key terms that you're going to experience when applying for Housing Connect lotteries. However, listings are still full of facts and figures that confuse everybody. That's why in the next video, you and I are going to go through an actual Housing Connect listing so that way you can apply with confidence.